you're using the one life that you had that is more likely to be ended by a man to defend men?
Yes, and I will continue to do so. Because unlike some, I actually stand by the principles that I believe in. And if I see a group of people, any group of people, being treated unfairly based on a characteristic that they absolutely cannot control, I will have something to say about that.
To defend men? Huh? That's what you're choosing to do with your life? Like, you don't feel embarrassed? You don't feel like that's a waste of fucking air?
Absolutely not. Because in case some need reminding, misandrists use the same logic that racists use in order to justify their own bigotry.
I don't understand. I really don't understand. Like, it actually pisses me off. It actually really irks me.
That sounds like a personal problem that a lot of individuals have because they're not open-minded enough to actually understand that bigotry is wrong.
Because men do not spend any time out of their lives trying to defend women, fighting for them, coming up with little phrases and using buzzwords in order to defend. You know, like, I just don't understand. Like, they don't go out of their way to defend.
And here we have an excellent example that shows if a person wasn't so close-minded and actually aware of things that men do, they would realize that there are multitudes of men that actually stand up every day for women.
So you don't feel like a fucking idiot doing that for them? You don't feel like a fucking idiot?
No, but I can think of plenty of people that should, based on the assumptions and generalizations they make about an entire demographic of people.
Like, me hating men is me staying away from them.
And from what I've seen about a lot of individuals that claim to hate men and stay away from them, they can't do anything but talk about them.
Them hating women is them raping, abusing, killing us.
Notice how they say that as if it's all men that are doing that, when in actuality, it's only a small percentage. But go on.
If you go out of your way to defend them against misandry as if they're these poor, weak little babies that need your protection, even though they would never, ever do that for you, you're a loser. You're a loser. Like, I don't know how else to say it. You're a fucking loser.
The only thing that I'm going to say to that particular opinion is that, well, so speaks the voice of experience.
I mean, it's like they've forgotten that the reason they have a lot of the stuff that they have today is because men started standing up and saying, hey, you know what? These people have a point. They're right. Let's stop acting stupid and act like people are actually equal in this country. They're human beings. Let's start acting like we believe what we say. That's why. If a man wanted to be the dictator, here's what I'm saying to make it clear. If a man wanted to be a dictator, if he wanted to be an authoritarian, and he wanted to use absolute force like y'all are saying men do, he actually could. And all of this talk that you guys have going on is done. It's over with. Literally, it's done. All of that words and yipping and yapping, it's over with. I want to be clear. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying, if men weren't on your side and they were against you, like you say they are, you'd have a problem.
If you don't like me, that's fine.
So, women make humans from scratch, do they? Well, it seems that some of those individuals that seem to think that they are superior don't exactly know what the ingredients list is.
Men don't deserve names until they earn them.
Say what now?
Let me say that again. Men don't deserve names until they earn them.
Oh, goody. I thought I heard that correctly. And here we have yet another attempt by someone who apparently doesn't like men very much, trying to find ways to dehumanize them so as to justify their poor treatment of them.
It's like, on top of just being horrible with names in general, it's like, how am I supposed to remember this random generic man's name?
Frankly, that sounds like a personal problem.
Joe, Brian, Michael, who's that? We need affiliative nicknames. I'm never gonna remember who Alex is. You know who I am gonna remember? Salmon, because he wants to own a salmon farm upstate. And the thing is, most men never do earn their names. You know when a man deserves a name is when he shows his value and proves that he can be a good partner. Otherwise, I don't hear it.
It rather makes a person wonder, doesn't it? Because if men have to earn their names by proving themselves in some way, I wonder what exactly a woman would have to do to prove that she deserves a name. Or is that a conversation that some might not be ready for?
Obviously, if you're dating women or MBs, they deserve names. They inherently have value.
The takeaway from all this is that as long as a person is the correct gender, then they can be as openly sexist as they want with no repercussions, and even blatantly state that one gender has no inherent value.
Trying to explain to a man that if a girl says to leave us alone, do anything but leave us alone.
So, no now means yes. I wonder if there are exceptions to that.
Unless it's said multiple times.
So if no is said often enough, then they're serious.
Most of the time, girls just like, we want the attention.
That last part, it really hit home, didn't it? Because they certainly hit the nail on the head. Because they are absolutely correct that a lot of women out there really just want attention. They would rather get that validation from a guy by getting that positive attention than actually being upfront and honest about what they actually want. Because heaven forbid it would clear up any miscommunications or misunderstandings, because it's just much more fun for some just to play these little mind games. It's unfortunate that there's a lot of grown women that still play these games. Hopefully some of them will learn the value of honesty.
You straight men out there should want to date a woman who hates men.
And here we have an example of someone trying to rationalize the completely irrational.
He's never going to cheat on you.
Well, this is going to burst their bubble. But women who actually respect themselves, in addition to respecting their partner, aren't going to cheat on them either. So what else you got?
She doesn't like men enough to do anything like that. She doesn't need male validation. She gave up on that shit a long time ago. She is not trying to be validated by people that she hates.
Oh dear. This might come as a complete shock, but those who are comfortable and confident in who they are actually don't seek the validation of others to begin with.
She hates men, and she still chose you. You should be feeling on top of the world. You won, dude. You won. There is no validation you could ever get from your boys that will top the validation you get from being chosen by a woman who hates your gender.
Just an observation. But I've been noticing that it's only a certain type of woman that actually makes this particular argument. And I can't help but wonder why.
If a man offers a walk, a coffee, or a hike for a first date, he does not value you.
Really? So how much money a man spends on a first date now equates to how much he values her. Okay.
Or he's cheap, or broke, and he's not dateable.
Well, silly me. And here I was thinking the whole time that first dates were primarily about getting to know someone. But apparently, according to some, if a guy doesn't spend enough money, then he's just undateable.
But if you accept, you've got low self-esteem, and you got to work on that.
Translation. For those women that don't solely focus on the amount of money that a man spends on a first date, it's rather highlighting those that do in a rather bad light, so they're naturally going to try to drag other women down to their level so they're not shown in such a bad light.
Well, you might be wondering, what do I do if a man offers a hike, a coffee, a walk for a first date? And the answer's simple. Ignore, ghost, unmatch. It's not even worth a second of your time to come up with whatever you're going to say back.
I mean, a person could argue the value of communication and expressing a person's needs and wants. However, then there's this.
One might be saying, oh, well, what about communicating my needs? No, communication is for married people. Thank you, next.
It's been said before, and I certainly will say it again, but single women really seem to want to keep other women single.
Don't let them do it, boys. Don't let them do it. These women are lying, man. They are lying, trying to spend all your money and won't even give you a thank you in return. Don't let them do it, boys. Don't let them spend your money.
I actually love how easy it is to piss men off on the internet.
What an interesting hobby.
I'm going to do it right now. Just talking about how easy they are to upset is like a dog whistle for them. And they'll be in my comments proving me right.
Let me see if I understand this particular thought process correctly. So if a person is making a type of content specifically designed to upset one demographic of people, if any member of that demographic, heaven forbid, stands up for themselves, responds in kind, shall we say, or makes any argument against any of the allegations that have been made, then that has proven the person who is intentionally making inflammatory content correct? And somehow they think that's a dog whistle. I kind of wonder if some individuals actually know the meanings of the words that they choose to use, because making content specifically to upset people is going to get reactions. And ironically, that is what a lot of individuals really depend on.
Hi, my name is Kylie, and here are 5 subtle signs that the guy you're talking to is a misogynist.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
Number 1, don't say I hate men.
Really? It's misogynistic now to encourage someone to not be a bigot. Okay.
Number 2, he always points out women that he thinks are attractive. You don't catch him staring, but he'll be like, oh, that girl's really pretty. Or he'll ask you for permission to call out women that he thinks are attractive. Like,
How does that even make sense? I think we are going to need a little bit more of an explanation of how a man pointing out that women are pretty makes him a misogynist.
It just means that he sees women as objects that he's constantly shopping for. Number 3, he does not have any female friends, like, at all.
It's like some individuals have never actually met a true misogynist, and they're trying to find ways to make men into misogynists. They're just pulling stuff out of the ether at this point.
Number 4, he makes fun of hobbies that are associated with femininity.
Like I said.
So anything with makeup or social justice warriors or just anything like that that he thinks are associated with women, he will take shots at. Please be careful because men are hiding their misogyny much better now. It's not as explicit as it used to be, so just be very careful.
Or perhaps there just aren't as many misogynistic men as some women think that there are. But I've often found that if a person goes looking for something, expecting to find it, they surely will.
Men shouldn't be allowed to live under the same roof as women and children.
And not every thought that comes into a person's mind should come out of their mouth. But yet here we are. So I'm going to save everyone at least 6 minutes of your time. They go on to explain that statistically, women and children are more at risk of many unfortunate things happening to them if they live with a man. And well, in part that's true. Because there are, unfortunately, some bad men out there that do very unspeakable things to women and children. But is that really a reason to try to say that men should not be allowed to live with women and children? Oh, my goodness, that's the same kind of rationale that some individuals use to justify racism, isn't it? Because of the actions of some, the entire group must be punished. And is that really the type of thinking that we want to perpetuate? Or should we actually correct these illogical statements when we first hear them?
I think they were saying that there was like 0.5% of men, or like up to 1% of men that were they were committing 63% of the crimes or something like that. It was basically the same people over and over again. And I think it went for women too. It was the same people over and over again committing the same crimes or committing crimes in general. And I think any of us could have guessed it's because they're criminals. That's what they have in their mind to do, is do the wrong thing.
Just remember, a lot of men want a good woman until it requires them to be a better man.
Maybe so. But some of those women are going to be in for a rather rough time of it, because most of those good men only want a good woman, and that usually involves more than being just a pretty face.
Woman has man in it. Mrs. has Mr. in it.
Well, I wonder where this is going. Surely it's not a spelling lesson, is it?
Female has male in it. She has he, okay? And then we have mental illness, menstrual cramps, menopause, mental breakdowns. All I'm saying is, have you noticed that most of women's problems have men in them?
And here we have, most likely, another fine example of the American education system, where they quite obviously don't teach morphology or even etymology for that matter. And it is showing that indeed it is a truly great pity that more Americans don't speak more than one language, or else they would likely understand that this is just primarily a problem in English.
Women should marry for money.
Gentlemen, I just have 2 words for you. Prenuptial agreement.
Because the opposite of it is marrying for poverty.
And here I thought the opposite of being a gold digger was marrying for love. Silly me.
And when it comes to dating, money must go first, love and emotions go second.
Ooh, materialism and greed at its finest.
You know the kind of women that stood on the moral high ground saying that oh, money doesn't matter, love is enough? They're still flying economy.
And now we have the elitist mentality. A very popular opinion that a lot of individuals have that thinks that having money makes them somehow better than others.
I know this sounds harsh, but those are the exact same kind of women that never get flowers, never get gifts, never get appreciated, and always overworked.
What?
They are the same kind that get forced to go to work while being 35 weeks pregnant, squeezed onto the metro just because their husband cannot provide for them.
Where do some of these ideas come from? It's honestly like they're trying to scare other women into being money-grubbing gold diggers just like them.
I'm not saying to not date for love.
Really?
But I'm saying that financial standard must come first. If you only date guys who are financially successful, you're bound to fall in love with one of them.
I would beg to differ. Those women aren't falling in love with you, gentlemen. They're falling in love with your bank account.
Yup, and I do.
Or maybe just try something different. and have some self-respect.
Hey, Pikmisha, are you posing the same line of questioning to men?
Oh dear. So instead of answering a perfectly reasonable question, in my opinion, they decide to start out with name-calling and deflection. It can only get better from here.
Like, I'm curious, are you running into men's comments the same way you just ran into mine to ask them why they're not working in female-dominated career fields?
Well, there are plenty of men that already work in female-dominated fields, but let's continue.
Have you ever bothered to ask a man why he didn't become a nurse or a teacher or a caregiver? No? You just asking the women these questions? That's what I thought.
I wonder, why are they not answering the question?
This little attempt at devil's advocacy comes straight out of the patriarchy's playbook.
No, here we go.
This is a tactic that men love to use to try to shame women for their work.
Asking a perfectly reasonable question is now a shaming tactic. Got it.
Because they want to imply that somehow the work that women do in the helping professions, such as healthcare or education, is less important to society than the work that they do in their dangerous and tough jobs.
Yeah, most rational people don't actually think that.
Now listen, this is just my lived personal experience.
That translates to someone's own personal bias.
But I have never needed a welder in my goddamn life. I have certainly needed a nurse or a teacher, though. And I'm not saying that welding isn't important. In fact, we could totally make a case for that. What I'm saying is that you can't make a case for nursing or teaching not being important, can you?
I'm sorry, was that an argument in the original comment? Let's take a look.
Now, what I would do if I were you is I would retire as a good little foot soldier for the patriarchy, and I would sit and do some self-reflection. I would ask myself why it is that I want so badly to be picked.
How predictable. They ended the same way that which they started, with name-calling. But the important thing to take note of here is, during that entire monologue, they never actually managed to answer the question. They either won't, or they can't.
Why didn't anybody tell me that you have to pay to charge your electric car?
They can't be serious. Can they?
Yo, I did not know that we was paying to charge these cars.
This has to be bait, right? Is there really someone out there that believes that electricity is just free?
And I know to some people that might sound crazy.
Well, it's certainly not the craziest thing that I've heard.
But for me, I was just like, what's the benefit of having an electric car if you also gotta pay to charge it?
Now, I'm no automotive expert by any stretch of the imagination, but there is something that I do know. When a person decides to own a vehicle, they are responsible financially for its upkeep and maintenance, in addition to fueling that vehicle, whether that be through traditional fossil fuels or through electricity. And neither of those things are free.
Is it like emissions? Is that the biggest thing, saving our environment? Mind you, the car was discharged 3 days ago.
That's just amazing.
Some of these ladies think that their words hold weight. In turn, like, you know, obviously words, they can damage you, but that's their go-to, right? It's funny to me how women say, oh, you're just big and bad, you're strong, and you can't think with your mind. Like, you can't use your brain to defeat people. When they say that to men, because, you know, men, I mean, people in general, like, let's not just say women do it, but people in general say, you're using your fist, bro, to young men who have pent up aggression. But then do we reverse it and say, are you going to use your mouth? Are you going to use your mind for good? We're telling these young boys, hey, instead of trying to whoop up on somebody, use your mind to solve a problem. You only resort to that if you have to. That's how you use your aggression and your violence. You don't just walk up to somebody and just start stealing off on them. Like, try to figure out another solution. And I think most men do, right? Only certain types of men, that's the way they go to. And then there's sometimes, yes, they grew up in certain environments to where I have to make sure you're not trying to run up on me. You know what I mean? You got to protect yourself. But when it comes to women, we allow them to just pop off at the mouth. We allow them to, as Kevin Samuels used to say, shame people, insult people, try to, in any way that they need to, get their point across, and they're right about it. Just in order for you to quit talking and arguing, I'm just going to shut up and let you keep talking. We've allowed them to do that for so long that anytime somebody tries to hold them accountable, they fire back even though they be dead wrong. They be dead wrong about it. It's like, why are you fighting when this is everybody around you can clearly see that you're in the wrong? This is what she's doing. Can't be held accountable. Gotta insult somebody. Why is nobody? Well, Lady J is. So there you go. Hold them accountable and say, hey, you don't need to do that. You know, it's just because somebody has a difference of opinion, you don't need to try to insult them. Use your intelligence.
Never date this type of man.
Oh, goody. More dating advice from another subject matter expert.
If he was ugly when he was young and now he's hot,
What? So if a guy looks better now than he did when he was young, he's not dateable? Okay, what is the reason for that?
validation from others will always be his top reward, and he will always chase that.
I said this was coming from a subject matter expert, didn't I? And that would seem to be the case, because this sounds like a case of projection. Because not everybody looks for the validation of others, but a lot of people who do actually assume that other people do as well.
Whatever you like in your childhood, you're going to look for in your adulthood.
That's an interesting statement, but some individuals actually do this thing called growing up and maturing, and learning that the things that are important as a child are not necessarily important as an adult. But what does that say about all those women who've had those glow-ups? I guess a lot of men shouldn't be dating them by this logic either.
When a woman self-proclaims herself to be a misandrist, men freak the fuck out.
May have to beg someone's pardon here, I guess, but no, they don't.
Which is funny, because you guys are all misogynists.
All men are misogynists, are they? So every single man on the planet hates women. Right. I can't wait to see how they try to justify that statement.
You might not be self-proclaiming yourself to be a misogynist, but if you have misogynistic ideologies and tendencies, then you are a misogynist if you are not trying to actively unpack.
So let me see if I understand this particular generalization correctly. Every single man on the planet hates women, unless they are trying to actively unpack their hatred of women. It's rather circular in reasoning, isn't it?
Misogyny is woven into the fabric of everything within our society.
That would have to be true in order for this narrative to be correct. But then again, if it were, then women would have never gained any rights anywhere in the world.
But you cry whenever a woman on the internet says that she is a self-proclaimed misandrist.
Maybe they just don't like bigots.
I'm sorry, you know that misogyny gets women unalived and raped, right? You know that misogyny single-handedly is the reason for femicides across the world? You're mad about the internet? You guys are funny.
And what I find funny is someone trying to justify bigotry and bigoted actions, and justify the hatred of an entire demographic of people based on the actions of some members of that group.
Women are not meant to work.
Really? I'm kind of starting to wonder if some women think that women's rights movement thing was apparently just an entire waste of everyone's time.
40-hour work weeks, plus overtime, double time, weekends,
It rather makes a person wonder, how exactly are they going to be supporting themselves?
We are not workhorses. Save that for the men.
Leave the work to the men. Because they're workhorses. Sure. You know, it makes me stop and wonder, if a person were to actually ask a lot of these women that make these sorts of statements, do they actually believe that women are truly equals to men? I wonder how many of them would say yes, and still try to justify making these sorts of statements. Because equal rights means equal treatment, and it also means equal responsibility. But I know responsibility to some is definitely something to be avoided. What do some of these women, especially ones that make content like this, even want? Or rather, I should say, expect out of life? Because from what I have been seeing, there are some women that certainly want all of the rights and privileges and benefits of being treated as an equal to a man, but only in so much as it suits them. However, the moment it doesn't suit them, such as having to stand and wait on a subway, they want to shame men for treating them as equals. And in those cases, they don't want to be treated as equals. No, they want to be treated as better, it seems, than men. Or some could argue they want to be treated as inferior to men, as they are apparently too weak to stand. My goodness, I guess we could be setting feminism back over 100 years with that kind of implication, couldn't we? So do you want to be treated as equals, or do you want to be treated as less than? You really can't have it both ways.
I was like, why are you so obsessed with me?
Why are you so obsessed with me?
And here we have yet another fine example of how some women really want to seem to demonstrate how truly gracious they are and how they accept compliments from men. Instead of just ignoring it, they have to make an entire video complaining about how they were called pretty. I wonder if they're going to feel that same way when they stop getting those compliments.
I think it's so funny whenever I post anything saying like, women are oppressed.
Well, that's fascinating. And yes, there are still places in this world today where women are genuinely oppressed. However, I wonder if they're going to tell us anything about how women are supposedly oppressed in the Western world.
And then there's so many men in the comments who are like, oh yeah, how are women oppressed? How are they oppressed?
Yes, indeed. I know I'm waiting to hear how I'm supposedly oppressed. I believe we're all waiting for that answer.
Babe, just look at this comment section. Like, you all fucking hate us.
And that was the entirety of the video. Anyone else notice that they didn't actually answer the question of how women are oppressed, specifically in the Western world where this video was obviously made, but instead they deflected to the comment section, which naturally and unfortunately did have some rather disparaging comments about women in it from men. Now, here's something important to remember. Just because some men out there don't like women or make disparaging remarks does not mean that a person is oppressed. It really makes me wonder if some individuals actually know the definition of the term.
Come on, Jacqueline. Come on, Jackie. You're killing me, Jackie. Come on now. I remember she said something about men, if I remember correctly. She was saying, why do men in the gym wear those black rubber band things around their ring finger? And then men in the comments was like, because it's a safety hazard. Like, we use that to protect our ring fingers. Like, we might not want things to hit it or scratch it or damage it, or, just once again, it's safety. And here we are again. I'm remembering there was another clip of a woman who she was crying. Like, she was bawling. I think it might have been something I posted like maybe a couple of days ago. She was bawling. And the dude in the comments was like, why is she crying again? Oh, these effing men. I hate them. F them. F this. F that. Oh man, you go in the gym. I'm just in the gym. And I'm just trying to, and I'm just in the gym. And you're like, what is it? What's happening? What's wrong? Like, did she ever say what happened? Well, I was stretching and these men and you think I'm breaking. You think the video's skipping, but that's what she kept on doing. Like, and the man was like, and there was another dude who was like, hey, did I miss it? And there were women in the comments. Did I miss what was going on? What's happening? Like, how were you oppressed? Like, give me some examples. Well, just look at the comment section. You're proving a point. What point? She didn't say anything. And this is it's the exact same mentality and mindset. Your worldview is that of everybody else. Well, if I think like this, if I interpret things and I relate to things this way, then that's how it must be. These women, man, they out of line. Come on, Jackie. Come on, man.
Hey guys, Teslas don't come with a spare tire.
Okay, well, that seems rather impractical.
So if you want to come at me about how I should know how to change a tire, first of all, no, I shouldn't.
Why shouldn't any grown adult, strike that, why shouldn't anybody who's old enough to drive, to include teenagers, not know how to change a tire? That's called a basic life skill.
Okay, I had an amazing dad and I have an amazing husband.
Then they should have taught you how to change a tire.
I am a feminist and I don't need to learn how to change a tire.
A feminist? But feminists are supposed to believe in things like equality, equal treatment, even that one thing that a lot of women seem to want to avoid, equal responsibility. So if a person thinks that they shouldn't have to learn how to change a tire because they're a feminist, then obviously they don't know the first thing about feminism.
Second of all, Teslas don't come with one, so fuck off. I'm not the one, okay?
I would wholeheartedly agree that someone is most certainly not the one, as they seem to lack basic life skills.
Intentional weight loss, so you purposely saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, is fatphobic.
That is certainly A stretch, but whatever would lead a person to that conclusion.
And you might be like, what? Oh my goodness. I'm not trying to be fat phobic, but you are. You're being fat phobic to yourself.
How does that make any sense? Trying to lose weight is now considered to be, according to some, fat phobic to yourself. You can't make this up.
Why do you want to lose 20 pounds?
Since when does any person actually have to justify to another one, let alone a random stranger, why they want to lose weight?
It's probably to fit into something smaller. It's probably so people treat you better. It's probably for all the reasons that fat folks are shamed simply for being fat.
Or maybe they just want to either maintain or improve their overall health, because I guess a certain person doesn't know what medical professionals say about obesity in regards to a person's overall health.
So by continuing to perpetuate that, right, seeking intentional weight loss, we are contributing to our fat phobic society.
The lengths that some will actually go to try to justify their own positions is just amazing.
So as we're all very much aware, we are living through a chopped man epidemic.
Well, to be perfectly fair, I'm sure that there's a lot of guys out there that are, at this very moment, saying the exact same thing about the number of attractive women out there.
And there's a big shortage of baddies.
Shortage of baddies. Ah, yes. For those who aren't quite familiar with the phrase, that is basically slang for a shortage of good-looking gentlemen.
It's gone so bad to the point that, like, if I see an attractive man, it genuinely makes my day.
I can see how that would happen, but what a person considers to be attractive really comes down to a person's preference and what they happen to find attractive. But statistically, and depending on which statistic a person chooses to look at, the most conservative being that only around 1 to 2% of the population is considered to be very good looking, while around 7 to 8% of the population is considered to be conventionally attractive. So the odds are not exactly in anyone's favor.
It's motherfucking 6:37 in the fucking morning.
And yet someone manages to be so eloquent so early in the morning.
You know how many men have looked at me get fucking gas at this motherfucking QT?
And the verbal grace just continues.
Like fucking 8, bitch. So you think I'm that fucking cute? Buy my fucking shit instead of just staring like.
Well, considering everything, there are two very plausible explanations as to why those particular gentlemen decided that they did not want to pump the gas of someone that they don't know, in addition to paying for it. The first is that they were probably on their way to work, especially considering that hour of the morning. 6:30 is not the time of day when most people go out looking for someone to interact with. But the most likely explanation is that probably some of those gentlemen might have just overheard a certain someone talking.
He gets to be inside of you. You should get to be inside his wallet. Yeah. I think that's a pretty easy concept. I think that's a natural order concept, right?
Natural order. Right. That's quite literally the definition of paying to play. But at least I guess the world's oldest profession has at least evolved along with so many other things in this world. As long as it is under the guise of dating, it is perfectly acceptable for women to sleep with men in exchange for money. Great times we live in. Better? Better at what? Oh my goodness, I mean, I can certainly think of a long list of things that some women certainly are better at than men, but that only really promotes a stereotype in some cases, so they would probably feel very called out if I actually brought that up. And there are things out there that men are better at than women, but the thing to remember here is that there are people out there that actually think this way, that one gender is better than the other. No one's better than anyone else. Everyone has their own strengths and their own weaknesses, but this type of propaganda doesn't help anyone.
I just want to know how you're better making the same mistakes over and over again. I just want to know how you're better when at 35 and 40, when you're asking men, why don't y'all have y'all stuff together? You be coming to the same point, and then that's when you put out a video talking about, I'm not where I wanted to be. I'm not where I wanted to be in life. And you know, at 45 years old, I'm finding out that's okay. It's okay to not know at 45 what you want to do. I still live with my parents. I still work at one of these low-level jobs that I said 10 years ago a man should be well past that because I'm in my boss babe career. But I'm learning to just connect with nature again and love every part of this journey, which is a long form of saying I'm unemployed. I have no job prospects. Nobody wants me. I was in a dead-end job. And now I have nothing to do all day but sit out in the field. I can't sit inside because my parents would think I'm not really doing anything but leeching off of them. So I walk outside and I record a whole bunch of videos, wasting a bunch of time instead of being inside or going to the library or somewhere, actually applying and really beating the pavement and figuring out what my next goal in life is, where my next paycheck is coming from.
So that video, in and of itself, was fairly self-explanatory. There are a lot of women out there that are actually very proud, it seems, of announcing that they are exchanging their time in exchange for money. That's the entire reason that they're dating. But believe it or not, I found a video that explains it even better. Well, if nothing else, we can say that we've reached a whole new level on social media, and that would be complete and total honesty. There are some women out there freely admitting that they're just using men. Oh, and the caption on that last video? Just priceless. A person could even say, disgusting. But the really sad part is the amount of women that actually praise this type of behavior. It's almost like they condemn that same behavior when men do it, though. Odd.
This is gonna trigger some people.
Probably not. But when someone says something like that, we usually get some good insight into how someone thinks.
Most men don't even like women.
This again? Okay. I wonder what they're going to say next that is not only going to, 1, prove their point, but 2, apparently trigger people.
They just don't want to love on a man. Openly.
Holy phobic behaviors, Batman. But I wouldn't exactly call that triggering. I would call that instead rather self-revealing, as there are a lot of women out there that are actually expressing their displeasure with men by trying to insinuate that there is actually something wrong with not being straight, and that is unfortunate. That is their way of trying to disparage and shame men now. Okay, thought we were past that. But no, in point of fact, most men actually do like women. They just don't like a lot of the women that make disparaging men their entire personality and their online presence. Can't imagine why. Don't ever speak for me. In fact, don't go so far as to even speak for anyone else other than yourself. Because contrary to what a lot of these women are trying to say, there are, in fact, a lot of women. I would actually go so far as to say the majority of women actually do care a great deal about men's mental health. Unfortunately, I feel that some women out there are afraid to speak up because they're worried about the amount of online criticism that they will get from those individuals out there who really don't care about anyone other than themselves and the nasty messages that they might receive, which is unfortunate. But if more of us actually stand up for what we believe in and show that we really do care about men's mental health, then some of these individuals won't have a leg to stand on.
If men didn't exist, there'd be no war, there'd be fewer crimes, there'd be less violence, there'd be fewer billionaires.
It strikes me as funny that the majority of individuals that make this type of content that think that the world would be so much better without men are obviously not students of history or the human condition.
There'd be less homelessness, there'd be equal pay, there'd be less oppression, there'd be less poverty, there'd be universal health care. All the money used to fund the military would instead contribute to free education.
Sadly, it is often the most uninformed individuals that often speak the loudest.
And affordable housing, livable wages, and environmental efforts. Period products would be free, there'd be no need for birth control and all of its side effects, there'd be no need for women's rights or Me Too movements.
It's amazing how blind a person can be when they actually believe that men are the root of all evil, and seemingly they don't think that women can do any wrong.
There'd be no abortion debate, toilet seats would never be left up, there'd be more self-love, there'd be less body shame.
What? More self-love and less body shaming if men didn't exist? Yeah, it doesn't seem like they've experienced much of reality because in my experience, it's usually women that do the most of that, not men. But again, let's go on.
The world in general would be safer, cleaner, and more comfortable. Land would be shared, not stolen. There'd be less hate, and there'd be less fear. Let me know if I missed anything, and try telling me that I'm wrong.
A person doesn't really actually have to try that hard to point out how egregiously incorrect it is to say that half of the human population does all the wrong while the other half can do nothing wrong. I'll just leave that there.
She's lying in the story. They always make stupid comments like that. They know they dead wrong.
Oh, I think I see the problem. There's a strong, independent woman that has the same rights as a man, but doesn't seem to want the same responsibilities. That seems to be a very popular trend among a lot of women out there. They want to reap all of the benefits of having the same rights as men, but a lot of them certainly don't want the same types of responsibilities. For example, they don't want to have to take care of themselves and carry their own luggage. And then they complain when a man doesn't offer them a seat, even though they've been saying for years that they're equal to men and don't need special treatment, except when they think they deserve it. Yeah, that's part of the problem there. But the other part of the problem is why a guy probably didn't stop and help is, yeah, there's probably a tripod and a camera set up there so that the person can film themselves carrying the bag up the stairs. That might also have something to do with it.
Some of these modern women have this weird dynamic to where they think that a man is even, now get this, mind you, they've been trashing this man. He should still help. They can dog a man out to his face right then and there, and then literally seconds later expect that man to help.
You know, I always get what I want.
Is it just me, or is there a lot of women out there that seem just a little too eager to advertise that they can in fact be bought and paid for?
Look, there's no such thing as gold diggers.
Is that so? And pray tell, why is that?
As a man, you either choose an independent woman who is capable of meeting her own financial needs, or you pick one within your price range and shut up about it.
What a truly interesting perspective. Either a woman can stand on her own financially, or she falls into the category of falling into someone's price range. Almost like an item to be purchased. But no, sir, I do have to disagree. There are women out there that are gold diggers because they are going after certain men because those men make a certain amount of money so that they can be supported financially, and they're not interested in them for anything else other than how much money they happen to have. That is what a gold digger is. And it's really actually sad that I actually have to explain that, but in this day and age, nothing really should surprise me at this point, because there's actually someone out there that doesn't think gold diggers exist and is actually pandering to that belief. But what do I know?
Can we normalize flirting with guys at the bars to get free drinks even if you're in a relationship?
Ever wonder how cheating starts? Well, that's how cheating starts.
Like, I don't want to date you. I don't want to hook up. I just want a free little drink.
So many strong and independent women out there, but yet can't seem to support themselves or buy their own drinks. So they have to pretend to like a guy in order to get him to spend money on her so that she can feel better about herself and say that she's saving money, when in reality, just acting a bit like a leech.
Like, why do I have to be excluded from this luxury just because I'm in a relationship?
Luxury. Okay. It's almost like that being in a relationship would mean that a person is committed to the other one and isn't going to be flirting or engaging in any kind of activities with another person. But that might be one of those words that have changed definitions of late, but honestly, I can't keep track of them all. But it's no small wonder why there are a lot of men these days that, one, won't buy women drinks simply because of this type of behavior, but that a lot of guys are actually choosing to remain single and, more importantly, just not approach women at all.
So you're telling me you're gonna love a man who does nothing for you, but you don't love money?
Well, this sounds like it'll be wholesome.
You don't love the job that actually puts food on the table for you?
Well, let's be very honest here. A person is very lucky, actually, if they indeed do love their job. A lot of people just work because they have to.
But you're gonna love a man that does nothing and drags you to the depth of hell?
Why would any person want to be with a person, man or woman, that would put them through that? No one should have to put up with that nonsense.
Have some fucking dignity. Go and fall in love with money. At least it does things for you.
Did they really just say, have some dignity and go fall in love with money? I love it when people use words and they don't actually know the true meaning of it, because dignity actually means having love and respect for oneself, being worthy of honor and respect. And I can't think of a single dignified person that would actually go so far as to be in love with money. Money is just an inanimate object, and let's be very clear, it can't actually do anything for you. It allows you, however, to do stuff for yourself as well as for others. And the only individuals that I actually have come into contact with that are in love with money are very shallow and miserly. And that is not the type of person that another one should try to emulate.
That was rude. That was pretty fucking rude.
What a truly interesting thing to say. The sad part is it's not exactly rage bait, because there are a lot of individuals out there that actually believe those things wholeheartedly. Terrifying, isn't it? But in my experience, most men, especially in the Western world at least, do not feel emasculated by the idea or practice of feminism. Because feminism, at its core, originally meant just men and women being treated as equals and having equal rights. And no rational man is going to feel emasculated by that. But then again, it wouldn't get so many views if it didn't use such interesting language, now would it? Now, then there's the second part. No, most men don't find their manhood in oppressing others or feeling superior to women. That just tells me that someone who would make such a statement actually doesn't understand a thing about masculinity and is just using words to try to get more attention.
The number one person that you should never have empathy for is a fucking man.
Okay, now I'm curious. Why exactly is it that men don't deserve empathy?
They are not deserving of your empathy. They are going to take your empathy and weaponize it against you and set you back further in life.
It's ironic that they said that, actually, because I'm sure most of us are aware that there's more than a few women that do that very same thing to men. They take the most traumatic and hurtful experiences that they've been foolish enough to share with another person, and that woman uses it against them in some way to shame them, to make them feel like less than. But yet, in this case, it's men that don't deserve empathy because of the actions of a few men. Gee, I wonder if women are deserving of empathy based on the actions of some as well.
The reason why they need your empathy so badly to weaponize is because your empathy is going to give them a chance for them to keep repeatedly hurting you. That's the reason why you can't give them any empathy in the first goddamn place.
Interestingly enough, the thing that a lot of content creators that make this type of content don't want to admit is that that particular narrative can actually work both ways, for men as well as women. So if we're going to say because some individuals treat others badly that they don't deserve empathy, does that prove true for the entire group? Oh, but wait, that doesn't sound quite right if it's about women, does it?
I'm sorry, I genuinely think you're stupid if you're participating in this whole conversation of women cannot decenter men and hate men at the same time.
I wonder if they realize that insulting someone that has a different opinion doesn't actually make that individual wrong.
Women are the only oppressed group in society that are not allowed to hate their oppressors.
I'm really still actually waiting for someone to tell me how women in the Western world are oppressed. Because yes, there are places in this world where unfortunately women are facing genuine oppression, but no one has been able to give me a reasonable, rational, logical answer of how women are actually oppressed in the Western world. I am still waiting.
And I cannot understand how you can claim to have a feminist analysis of the world, but also not understand how you're perpetuating sexist stereotypes by telling women that they're not allowed to be angry.
I wonder if some individuals actually realize that being angry is very different from hating an entire gender for being that gender.
And constantly have their anger either mocked or fetishized, maybe depending on what race you are.
Oh good, we're going down that road now, are we? Oh, that'll help with the argument.
Anger is a productive and useful emotion.
Only according to people that can't control their emotions. I've actually found that having constructive dialogue is much more productive.
Hating men is a very natural response to realizing that you are oppressed.
I'm a woman. I'm not oppressed. But I constantly have people telling me that I am, but yet no one can tell me how.
But you want women to be small and palatable and agreeable so bad that even when they're calling out men for oppressing them, we have to do it in a kind and palatable manner.
Not necessarily, however, it would help. Although, you probably should actually specify how you're being oppressed first.
So yeah, maybe by hating men, I'm centering them.
They finally got one right.
But considering so much of how womanhood is defined has to do with men, it makes a lot of sense that that's what's happening.
Only to a select few would that actually make sense.
If I'm walking out at night, I'm thinking about men because of my safety. If I think about getting married and having children, I'm thinking about how that's going to end my life.
More proof that actually hating someone or a group of people is actually going to make you more miserable.
Not even in the fact that I die, but in the fact that I'll no longer be able to self-actualize.
If that keeps you from self-actualizing, yeah, that's a you problem.
men are a big part of being a woman, and that's not women's fault. Like, why are we not the ones wrong?
It's almost like they just proved the point that you can't hate men and decenter them at the same time.
You know, she has great skin. It's clear. So that's my compliment here. Appreciate that. Drop your skincare routine. Other than that, what you're talking about is silly. So, and you know that.
Now, men are useless because men are useless. And did you know that men are useless because men are useless?
Spoiler alert. Now let me save everyone about a minute of your time that you're never going to get back if you actually watch that video, because all that a certain individual says for the whole video is that men are useless. They don't try to make any valid points. They don't try to make any arguments trying to justify their position. All they state over and over again is that men are useless. And I would go so far as to say that any video that is made like that, with that type of narrative, is not just useless, but it is also pointless. Because the only type of people that are going to actually like it or encourage more videos like that to be made are those that seem to lack a certain level or any level of rational thinking. Because most individuals are aware that no population of human beings is useless. And making stuff like that is just perpetuating misandry and bigotry. And that needs to stop.
You know, women used to scrub floors. They used to bake cakes. Bring back women who bake cakes, who clean homes.
My hot take is that men should start life in jail and earn their way out.
Quick question. Who exactly is going to be enforcing that? Just curious. I think we actually might have reached a new low when it comes to the education system, not just in one country, but apparently in multiple countries, where there are individuals that actually will proudly state that hate is the answer to hate, that it will balance out the universe somehow. Where exactly do these ideas come from? Because they certainly don't come from a place of logic or reasoning, and they certainly don't come from any educated sources. So where exactly are these ideas coming from that bad behavior is the solution to more bad behavior? I'm curious to find out. Well, now, if that was a demonstration on how not to be classy, I would say they absolutely nailed it. But that's not the best, or I should say worst part of it. Let's take a look at the most liked comment on that video. That's right, over 27,000 likes where it says, "Stop birthing your oppressors." Now, I've said this before, but I have yet to actually hear from any woman in the Western world, which is obviously where this video was taken, how exactly they are oppressed. And that honestly also says a lot about the women that think that they're giving birth to their oppressors, because they're taking part in raising some of these men, so one should think. So if they think they're oppressed, when are they actually going to take some accountability of how they raise their oppressors? Or is that something that they're not going to want to address because that would mean some personal accountability? Was that supposed to be a post on how to create more misogyny? Or is that simply a post for female validation? It's rather hard to tell.
You cannot convince me that men who treat their wives or girlfriends like shit are not secretly gay.
That's because it's often an exercise in futility to try to convince someone against their own opinion.
Men who cheat on their wives and girlfriends, secretly gay.
Why does it sound like they're trying to insinuate something here?
Men who love women don't treat women this way. Men who love women treat them with respect and kindness.
That's partially true. Men who love women and have respect for women and respect for themselves don't treat women that way. However, that does not make them gay. And someone saying so is rather implying that there's something wrong with being gay. And I would really not like to think that someone was saying that.
So men who don't act this way treat women with disrespect, need a man, and they're angry because they won't just come out. They'll just come out. Come on, Chad. Happy Pride Month.
It's almost like they really didn't think that statement through, or else they're really just showing how intolerant they actually are.
Lady J said it's almost like they didn't think that statement through. They didn't. And they know they didn't think it through. A lot of these modern women, they just get on and start talking. And at the end of it, they like, does that make sense? And then the people which have screwed up minds as well, they'll log on and say, yeah, that made plenty of sense. That made plenty of sense. All of y'all are in this. How can I say this? It's like a stupid bubble. And, you know, let me not say stupid. It's like an extreme silliness bubble that certain people that make statements similar to this seem to hover around and on occasion enter into. They know what they're saying is extremely silly, but they do it anyway, and they put it out there in the atmosphere hoping that somebody will catch on to it and validate it. That's why when you go back to what's her name, Camille White, she jumped on the internet because she might not have been having success with people validating what she was talking about, really digging deep. And maybe a part of her wanted help. Maybe a good majority of her wants help. But for the most part, I think she wanted validation. She wanted somebody to say, no, I know exactly what you're going through. And here's how I went through it. It's a way of, modern women use social media, as we know, as a way to kind of reset themselves and to try to basically, in so many words, they use it as their center. And so if they find somebody that relates to them, then they'll do it again and again and again and again. And everything that they receive from social media becomes golden. And so they think it's the truth. And so they'll start believing that everything that comes from it is true. That's my news source, right? Instead of going outside and touching grass. So you start to treat men a certain way. You start to believe certain things. And then you ruin stuff that's going on in your life because your reality is really a delusion. It's really a fantasy is what it is. That's what we have here. A bunch of nonsense, people floating in the ignorant bubble, and they just make stupid statements and they say, does anybody understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. The people that are also silly as well.
The problem I have with the Man of the Year trend is that it gives men an excuse to be like, I'm a good guy. Not like one of those assholes.
I don't know what's funnier. The fact that someone actually believes that a lot of men are even watching videos that are specifically tailored towards women that like to make fun of men, because no, self-respecting men aren't watching those. Or two, the fact that they actually go so far as to think that they know what the majority of men who actually do watch those videos would be thinking.
Like, it just lowers the bar for them. It was already too low. This continues to lower it.
The irony of someone talking about lowering the bar of what is considered to be acceptable behavior, meanwhile, talking with food in one's mouth.
As men thinking that they're way the fuck up here because they're not saying piss poor shit to women.
Calling out bad behavior does not lower the bar unless someone doesn't understand that bad behavior is bad behavior. That doesn't necessarily elevate those that don't do it to a higher level. But then again, most of these videos are targeted towards women, and common sense isn't common anymore. So, I mean, consider the audience. If anyone ever actually needed proof that beauty is only skin deep, let's look at that post again. It's almost a pity that a lot of individuals' personalities weren't reflected more in their outward appearance. I imagine they would be a lot less popular if that was the case. But just remember, looks can be deceiving, and just because someone looks nice doesn't mean they are.
Men have always been the problem and still is today.
Are they now? Okay.
All the destruction and chaos in the world come from a fucking man.
So it's always men, is it? Not mankind. Because I've noticed that women are conveniently absent from these discussions, like they have no responsibility or culpability for any of the things that have ever gone wrong in this world. I just find that highly convenient.
Lying, cheating men.
I mean, the same could be said of a lot of women out there, but why do they keep leaving women out of these particular conversations? It's almost as if some out there seem to believe that women have no ability to affect the goings-on in the world, which is absolutely not the case, especially now. But why do they keep leaving women out?
It's not that we bashing y'all. Y'all just don't know what the fuck to do. Y'all don't have no self-control. Shit.
If that wasn't bashing, well, then I certainly don't know what is. But I really do want an answer. Why do so many women leave women out of these conversations?
If a guy is liking my Instagram story, it's immediately over.
Wait, what? Could someone explain this to me? Why exactly would it be immediately over if a guy likes their Instagram story? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I get the ick. I think it comes off as very immature.
Okay.
Like, if you're liking my Instagram story, you're probably liking every other girl's Instagram story. You know what I mean?
So let me get this straight. They would rather the guy not like their Instagram story because they want to feel special, because they don't feel special if the guy likes their Instagram story because he's most likely liking every other girl's story. Is anybody else confused?
So, like, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
So then don't post an Instagram story. But then how would they get attention? Oh. But remember, gentlemen, there are women out there that will only like you if you absolutely pretend to ignore them and don't give them any positive attention. This is confusing.
I guess my question would be whether they find time to say stupid stuff. Like, how do you even find the time to think it up? Like, where do you get time from? If y'all are so busy working and being boss babes and you don't have the energy to deal with a man that's going to waste your time, then how do you find time to formulate silly thoughts, which is essentially you wasting your time to post this silly TikTok? Like, where are you finding time for that in your boss babe schedule?